You guys know Ken Norton Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Flake.
Legend.
Flake, the little breakfast place on Rose in Venice.
Yeah.
On I think Saturday morning, I was grabbing coffee, and Ken Norton, you sit on the sidewalk at Flake. Just there's no inside of that place. I was just sitting on the sidewalk, and a Mercedes pulls up, and Ken Norton. There's no one else around. It's Ken Norton Jr. gets out of the car and orders his food. I don't want to bother him. It was early in the morning, and he just got in his car and drove away. He coaches for the Commanders now. I guess he's just here in LA in the off season, but he's still
doing
coaches.
His rounds.
Yeah. So I just had that as my one note of things that I didn't want to forget to bring up. Just like I forgot that one time that I sat next to Mark Cuban for all of the Indiana game. Remember we did that whole episode, and I didn't even include that I was sitting next to Mark Cuban the whole game courtside, which is fucking crazy.
Well, here's your floor.
Yeah, but I'm already done. I saw Ken Norton Jr. That's the end of the story. Best finish since when, gentlemen? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Tyus Edney with the way that the Illinois game came to a close, and I was just kind of thinking leading up to tonight's episode, where does that one rank? I feel like the more I think about it, the more it's in top 3. The only ones I could think of are Tyus Edney, 95. Josh Shipp in 07 remember that one over the backboard against Cal?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That clinched the number 1 seed in the West. But aside from that, and Tyus Edney, I'm that's got to be top 2, top 3. It's just kind of fucked up because the more you think about it, you're we've been on the receiving end of a bunch of classic finishes, but on the other end of it, not so much in terms of walk-off 3-point shots or whatever, a layup, a coast-to-coast layup.
Yeah, that was sick. And not we're on the receiving end way too many times. And when I was thinking of it, all that I could really come to mind was the Lonzo Ball sort of finish against Oregon. That wasn't a walk-off or really anything like that, but the last minute was epic. And then obviously Jaquez in 20 versus Arizona State.
We don't,
but neither of those were
no
as dramatic it felt as this.
Well, if the Jaquez shot versus Arizona State was high stakes, it would be way up there. But we really don't have too many walk-off shots. It's really just kind of the Jaquez one. Oh, I have a deep cut. If any listener remembers this one, let me know in the comments, please, because I want to, I don't know, I'll Venmo you $20. Mustafa Abdul-Hamid, 2009 or 2010 versus Washington. I don't know if that's even still on the internet anymore, but that was a walk-up buzzer beater. That might be all of them. It's just not really something we do. Unfortunately, a lot of good finishes, though. Oregon was a great finish. We've had some Arizona classics. But yeah, put it in the hall.
What a call.
What, Mustafa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mustafa Abdul-Hamid. It's got to be somewhere out there. But anyways, Keon, you were not there. I was not there. Kyle, you were in attendance at Pauley Pavilion. I want a situation report, my guy. What was it like? Give us the lowdown.
Yeah. First off, I think we need a major upgrade to UCLA Pauley Pavilion Wi-Fi next season. That place is the worst.
Why can't we get that dialed in?
Oh my God.
We're a research university.
Text. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't we invent the internet?
Yeah.
Isn't that in the commercial?
It's in the commercial. He goes, yeah, you heard that right. The internet.
Yeah. I can't send a tweet during the game. I can't send a text. I can't receive text during the game. It's crazy.
What? Okay. Is that not just commonplace in all arenas? I know it's kind of
I know when you have mass amount of people, Coachella or Stagecoach, every time I've gone, I feel like that's always a headache to try to send and receive texts. But we've gone to the Intuit Dome a number of times. We'll shout out your Clippers, Ross, and had great, reception and Wi-Fi there.
I can't even pull up the box score to just understand, where we're at in terms of field goal percentage and anything like that. But as you can imagine, tons of Illinois fans. I got to the arena about 40 minutes early, and Illinois fans, all of them were there, way before UCLA fans arrived in attendance. One thing that I put out today that I meant to tweet during the game, one thing that stood out to me the entire game was the MC inside Pauley. I guess he does LA Kings games, he does Ontario Reign games, and that's his main priority. I have never seen him do a UCLA game, but it was spot on. The vibes just, after media timeouts, right before the team took the floor again, he was, telling people, like, get out of your seat, like, we need you, like, at the under 16 timeout in the second half, like, not just, with 4 minutes to go or 8 minutes to go. Like, I feel like UCLA fans need something to get into the game. I mean, it was even at times during the first half where this dude was, while they're about to shoot free throws, like, let's go, Bruin fans, and, like, good tone, good, just good delivery to him. It was like so impressive. I was just telling people the whole game, like, we've needed this for so long.
Yeah, that was a matter of time before, when they would finally get someone to do that, because we've talked about it at length. Like, there needs to be someone that's taking control over, like, the kind of the dynamic of the crowd engaging with the game, because the Yale leaders in recent years just weren't cutting it. No. I mean, if they were doing anything at all. It's surprising that the same school that saw as much success as it did with Jeff Strand in football has kind of gone away from that idea entirely until what you just talked about with the Illinois game for the last. I mean, they got rid of Strand in 2013. And if you go back and listen to broadcasts from games during his time versus recently, obviously the attendance drop-off plays a role there. But it's UCLA fans, it's just, I mean, I'm not even really complaining at this point. It's just kind of like who I guess we are as a fan base. We're just pretty laid back. And I think if the school can, or the athletic department can kind of just acknowledge that and work with it, you get a guy that's fired up that has no sense of shame, get up on the microphone and just tell people to stand up, get the crowd engaged. I am so all for that. Just like when there's a lot of people on, mostly on X and I guess some Reddit that I was reading, that are knocking UCLA for now having two court storms against, one against Illinois, obviously, then the other, what was it? Purdue.
Purdue.
And they're like, if you think you're still a blue blood program, you shouldn't be storming the court against programs like this. And I probably already made this point. I'm so anti that, and I am such a proponent of UCLA still being a blue blood, but I am so against the idea that UCLA and its students are above court storming really against any program. Like, I don't think the court storm against Illinois was a nod to our respect for Illinois. It was because we just came back 23 down versus the number 10 team in the country, walked it off with a coast-to-coast layup. So, and if that's what it's going to take for the kids that do happen to attend that night to experience like the high of like a big-time UCLA win and turn them into diehard fans for years to come, then court storm every game. I could give less of a shit. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Kyle. Oh, by the way, I meant to ask you, what was the boo situation like? I know we were kind of wondering what that would be.
He definitely got some. I mean, there were, I would go to say that there was 40% Illinois fans, 60% UCLA fans at the time of announcement of starting lineups. And then, late LA crowd definitely started to fill up a little bit more from our end. The Illinois fans booed the crap out of Sky Clark. And
what pieces of shit?
They're obsessed, dude.
They're obsessed with Sky Clark.
It's like ex-girlfriend syndrome.
Booed the shit out of him during. So I do think that there was some boos coming from Illinois fans for Cronin too. But I mean, you could definitely hear boos. So
thanks for watching. Shows that exactly my point. Like 90% of the UCLA fans there couldn't name their head coach. Here you are, like flying across the country to boo our coach. Fine, go fuck yourself. Okay, we need to eat a little bit of crow after last week. Not all of it, but some. And I don't think that we're alone in that. I think the majority of UCLA fans do. I guess before I do that, though, I want to play a little bit of my own personal devil's advocate, where I still am under the belief that I don't think UCLA is winning a national championship under Mick Cronin. I just don't. I don't think his style with coaching and recruiting and just his vibe in general with the media really kind of aligns with modern times. And I think it's kind of important to keep that in sight if you're a UCLA fan, if you're UCLA. If we're trying to, again, operate as a blue blood, I think that always needs to be the first and only goal is winning national championships. Is it impossible with him? No, they could win out and go to a national championship. We've seen him do something similar in recent history. But that is my belief. But having said that, back to the eating crow thing, if there's one thing UCLA fans are going to kind of just have to acknowledge about Mick is his talent to not lose a locker room, like really no matter what happens. And I don't know how
crazy.
I don't know how he does it, but he just doesn't. And I mean, I had full confidence on the show last week that Michigan State game was a lose the team, lose the locker room type event, as did nearly all of us. And look what happens. We're talking about UCLA taking down the number 10 team in the country.
Yeah, a team that Kyle loves to win the national championship. You've mentioned that a couple times. So totally, it's unbelievable. And seeing the way the kids play is more, I think, not just that we won, but to see that drastic difference between the first half and the second half, specifically like the first 15 minutes, and then you had those 2 timeouts back to back, and to see that the kids, because like think about it, you're down 23, your coach is in the media for talking shit about to his players and yelling and screaming and all these things and the reporter stuff, and you still are able to band together and be like, no, like let's win and let's keep fighting and not giving up. Yeah. I think that's a huge testament, even just to claw back from that 23 points down, to even take it to overtime and make it into a game, and to still believe, still keep, chopping wood and believing in what Mick is saying in the game plan.
Yeah, like that's exactly my point. Like, it's one thing to just simply win any game after the week that they had with the 2 losses on the road to the Michigans, and then of course just the absolute media shitstorm. It's another thing for that win to come against a top 10 team, and then it's completely bonkers for it to come after you're down 33-10 in said game. So I just think there might be some like basketball psychology at play with him and his players that might just be beyond our layman's understanding of the game and of basketball team dynamics, because it was almost a general consensus like, it's over. Some guys are saying rip the Band-Aid off, fire him now, fire him before the season ends. So again, I'm not saying that this does not redeem him of everything that he's done this season and the negative light he's brought upon the program. It's a great win. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played, so there's still opinions to be formed. But he's done this multiple times. I can't speak to his time at Cincinnati that well, but just looking at his time at UCLA, I mean, let's go back to his first season at UCLA. He's about midway through the season, just a game over 500, I think, 12 and 11. Then he rallies, I think it was like 7 or 8 straight, swept Arizona, and then the season gets canceled before COVID. Who knows what they would have done? I think they would have been like a 2 seed in that tournament. Following year, we all know what happens. He barely makes the NCAA tournament. They lose the last 4 games of the regular season. I think it was Oregon State they lost in overtime too in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament.
Ugly.
They go down 14 in the play-in game, and the team comes back and they not only win the game, they arguably should have made the national championship if it wasn't for a prayer shot against the number 1 team in the country. So he's done it before, and that's why it's you can't deny it at this point. The guy doesn't lose his teams. They clearly believe in him, no matter what our thoughts are as fans. So just needed to give him the props.
There's something in the sauce. I don't know what it is, but there's something. UCLA basketball did a little. I don't know if you guys noticed, did a little PR play with that post from the locker room, because they don't do that. I have not seen that really done very often. And it was Mick talking to the team, addressing the team, just sort of felt like he was giving them some confidence. Hey, this is what you did with these 2 teams coming in here. Don't tell me you can't do it. You guys can do it. And you see the guys sort of rallying around Donovan, getting hyped. That was cool to see, and it was definitely a strategy behind that.
And it was definitely the first time they've done that all season. I wonder why.
Oh, and probably the past couple years too. One thing that I think gets overlooked from Saturday, and this is sort of a hot take, is I think our foul trouble really, really helped us, because I feel that there have been times this season that our defensive lapses come from just our starters being overplayed. Bilodeau, so many guys we're so reliant on them on the offensive side. They play so many minutes that I just personally don't think that you can play that many minutes and give effort on both sides of the ball. We had to be a season high of 34, 35, 37, 48 minutes from the bench. Had to be a season high. And
well, I mean, I believe you, because that had to have been the most foul trouble I've seen UCLA in all season. I mean, they had 2 starters with 4, and then like the remaining starters with 3 fouls. The rest of the starting 5.
But I mean, Jamar Brown and Eric Freeney both gave double-digit minutes, which Eric Freeney was in there down the stretch in the second half. Xavier Booker obviously came off the bench. He's playing 25 minutes. And I think, I mean, they were 10 deep on Saturday when really realistically I would say 8 deep. I mean, but if you go 8 deep versus I mean, Illinois was also 8 deep. Now you're giving some daily time to rest. You're giving, I mean, Perry played all 45. You're giving Sky Clark, who's coming off a hammy, time to rest. And when they get back out there, they can give more energy to the defensive side, especially Daly, who's just not really strong defensive anyways.
Yeah.
I think our foul trouble, you never know how to be in foul trouble, but it helped us in a way.
That's got to be our game plan, is get everybody in foul trouble moving forward. I thought the matchup here was actually surprisingly, especially with the game plan that Mick put out, kind of spread the court out on offense, had guys really kind of playing around the perimeter. I didn't think that Illinois, I mean, look at Donovan Dent's assist numbers are a testament to that, because those assists are coming from him penetrating, just running past his guy, dishing it out to the perimeter. But here's kind of my issue is, like, you look at Illinois, huge reason, if not the sole reason why they pulled out to a 33-10 lead so early. I mean, they were practically unconscious from the perimeter. They went, I want to say 10 for 11 from 3 in that first half. That should be, I mean, at least just from a shots taken standpoint, that needs to be UCLA. They took over 10 more, it might have been 13 more three-point attempts than the Bruins did. And UCLA is the leading three-point percentage team in the Big Ten. Yet they're 17th in three-point attempts. It doesn't really make much sense. I mean, I think UCLA got away with one here because they shot at their normal elite clip at, I think it was 39% on the night. But if you take the same amount of shots that Illinois is taking, you're not even going to find yourself in that hole in the first place. I don't know if this game will be kind of like the linchpin that changes that, but it's probably too late. Mick is a pretty stubborn dude. But, God, I would just like to see what can happen with this team and with this offense if they shot 10 more threes per game, because they're so consistently close to 40% from the arc. I don't get why we don't see more. You've got guys like Bilodeau that are pushing automatic. Clark is back, obviously. Perry, Daly. These are guys that are all lethal from 3.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's something that could carry you into March. I think a big reason we were so excited about this team to start the season was guard play. And you look at a game that Donnie had against Illinois, and that's what gets you fired up for March, because that's a game that can knock off a protected seed in the tournament. That's the play that carries into the tournament, not like, Booker having a random good night like we had against Purdue that we were fawning over. It's guys like that. It's your stud guys taking it up the court that take over and have 15 assists like that can knock off any team in the tournament. So, it's definitely a game that'll keep me interested for the home stretch, that's for sure.
And, one note here, you mentioned the guard play, Ross. Between Sky Clark, we'll give him a pass, he's coming off an injury. But between Donovan Dent and Trent Perry, they played a combined 87 minutes. Yeah. Trent Perry didn't come off the floor once. Crazy. And they had a combined 0 turnovers between the two of them.
Yeah, dude, we didn't even bring up the fact that the guy who goes 14 assists, 0 turnovers. Like, where does that rank him in top point guard performances in Bruin history almost?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. So, great double-double, dishing the rock really well. I think he took some, poorly advised three-pointers, especially late down the stretch. I think he could have probably worked into the lane or even dished it a couple times. But Trent Perry, man, not coming off the court, 7 for 7 from free throws.
Yeah.
We're a team that has generally we have a hard time with free throws for some reason every year with Mick. But Trent Perry and Sky Clark are probably the 2 guys on this team that I would trust wholeheartedly in clutch situations to knock down a couple free stripes from the free throw line. I just wanted to give those cats their shout.
Keon, you mentioned Donovan Dent having 2 ill-advised 3-point shots. I'm not even going to knock him for one of those, though. Specifically about that final play of the second half, final play of the game of regulation. It seemed like UCLA didn't run a set at all. And then of all guys on the floor right there, Dent is probably the last guy I wanted taking that shot. Yet he doesn't even get a pass off and just chucks up a 3-point shot. Obviously misses. And then I don't know if you guys watched. Kyle, you were at the game, so you might have missed it unless you saw it on social media. They walk over to the bench before overtime, and Mick goes up to Bilodeau, and you read his lips. He goes, "What the fuck were you just doing?" He goes, "Answer me."
Yeah, it's your shot.
What the fuck were you doing? Well, I think he was expected to set
a screen.
Set a screen way earlier, and just you could look at Perry off in the corner on the opposite end of the court, and he's got his hands up, be like, "Why the fuck aren't we running the play?"
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happens on a tie game with 14. We had 14 full seconds to run something, and I remember once it passed like 7 seconds, I'm like, okay, we really want to milk this all the way down, I guess. And then 5 seconds comes, and you realize that it's just going to be Dent taking the shot. So
yeah.
I don't know if Cronin was asked about that in the presser. I'm sure he was. I wish I would have pulled that sound clip before we started recording, but that was very odd.
He was jumping up and down on the sideline. I saw it in the broadcast, like around
we had
the 9 second mark. He was just waving his hands, jumping up and down. So clearly something was obviously wrong.
Kyle, could you even use that timeout there? Like, if the clock's already now under 7 or like 6 seconds, you call a timeout there. Now you got to like inbound the ball, and that might be even more chaotic.
Turn it over,
you're doing more harm than good at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Bilodeau, he looks over at Cronin like twice. He looks back, and then he looks over again. And at that point, I think there was like 8 seconds left, something around there. And you would take it out. You would take it out on the bench side, on the sideline. So you would need to run some sort of like double set screen, and so yeah, you're right, maybe, but that definitely wasn't supposed to happen. I know he was asked about the final play of overtime, obviously the one that Dent took coast to coast, and he said that was exactly how they drew it up. And you can even hear Cronin in the play on the audio saying, "Go Donnie, take it," or something like that, which was pretty cool because you can hear him screaming like, "Keep going to the rim." And yeah, it was just the perfect ending there. And the ridiculous part about that finish is I think how difficult the finish is being overlooked. Like,
the hook.
It's a layup, but he went up and under, and then he also spun the ball off the glass because just the angle, he needed a little bit of spin. Like that, the finish right there is exactly what he did at New Mexico all year long. And you see him at times this year going like that at the rack and just getting rejected and getting stuffed and being a little one-dimensional. That was the creativity that we expect from Donovan Dent at the rim.
It's really just kind of a shame that he's not just a few inches bigger, because his skill set is so undeniable, and his passing ability, and then like just his moves around the basket. It's just kind of a struggle to believe that he's going to he's had a tough enough time translating from, was it the Mountain West? What was his conference? The Mountain West to, I almost said the Pac-12, to the Big Ten.
About to be the Pac-12, I believe. I think they're moving.
I almost called the Big Ten the Pac-12 is what I meant.
Oh.
Because, if you put that skill set in a guy that's like 6'3" even, or 6'2", you've got potentially, the thing about Donnie is that the lack of the free throw shooting and I don't want to say no jump shot, but limited ability to hit a three. He's just not.
But the kid was a 40% shooter from 3 last year. That's my biggest question. It's like, was it just because of the lax defending and just the different skill on defense that he was going up against night in, night out, and now he's just being exposed for not a fraudulent 3-point shooter, but definitely a more challenged one.
Yeah. It's just got to be the yips. It's just got to be mental at this point, because the numbers were there.
Yeah. You mentioned New Mexico, Kyle, and I was listening to the radio report after the game, and where they interviewed Cronin, and he actually mentioned Richard Pitino. That play that they ran at the end of the game was Richard Pitino's play when he was coaching Donnie at New Mexico last year. So so he gave a kudos to Richard Pitino, and obviously Donnie was familiar with that because they used to run that a ton in New Mexico, he said. So that was a cool little inside baseball nugget there from Cronin.
Yeah, he said they ran that 2 or 3 times last year and won games on it. Not direct buzzer beaters at times, but go aheads and things like that. So it's nice to see. And I know, Ross, you mentioned his skill set. I mean, there was one play in particular where he drove baseline and literally wrapped a pass around
Yeah, that was
one of
sick.
Illinois' big back to Booker for a dunk. I mean, things like that, you just don't. That's just not normal. And he in 15 assists in a game, 7.2 assists averaging. Like, part of me all night was just, let this guy just pass the ball. He needs, just. And I even turned to Marley at one point during the game and I said he has to stop shooting and just facilitate.
Yeah.
And then of course he does that at the end of the game. So
I mean, I'd be surprised to see Mick go away unless the matchup just calls for something entirely different. But what he did with the offense and kind of spreading it along the perimeter, I think that really allowed Donovan kind of the freedom to get to the rack and it not be so congested. So he can either clear it out, he can either finish, I don't know. But to your point, yeah, if you can just, because what did he shoot at? He went 5 for 15.
yeah,
Yep.
33%.
Yeah, so yeah, if that can just be brought down to be a bit more efficient, only really shoot when you got a good look, and then just pass the living shit out of the ball, set more plays up for Tyler Bilodeau to hit more threes, just shoot more threes collectively. Why don't we look ahead, or look at what's left, I guess I should say, with this schedule. You've got SC twice, one of which is tonight at the time of airing. We're going to put this out tomorrow morning on Tuesday. That's at 8 p.m. tonight at Pauley Pavilion. In between those two SC games, you've got Minnesota on the road. They've struggled a pretty fair amount. I don't know what their ranking is in the Big Ten. They might be like 12 or 13, maybe even lower, 14, 15 in another rank.
They are just above. They're just under SC. So.
Yeah, they're 6-10 in the Big Ten.
Yeah. So they're a sub 500 team. They're 4-4 at home in conference play.
Tough place to play, though.
Yeah, it's
a lot of Big Ten teams have gone there. Purdue lost there, I want to say, this year.
Michigan State just lost there a few weeks back. So, it's not like any game on the road in the Big Ten is a guarantee, but this one certainly isn't either. Although you got teams like SC that have gone there and won. So I think in the world of Big Ten road trips, at least going east, it's one at this point in the season you might be a bit more grateful that it's them versus, look at the road trip we went on last week, Michigan State and Michigan. You then host Nebraska at home the following week, who at one point was 20-0. They've since dropped 4 of their last 7. But I didn't realize they have had a gauntlet themselves in terms of scheduling, almost kind of similar to what happened with UCLA. 3 of those 4 losses have been to number 3 Michigan, number 9 Illinois, and number 13 Purdue. So absolutely brutal stretch there for them. But I just think it's a pretty interesting last little stretch of games. Like you get the 2 SC games. They're arguably playing some of the worst ball right now in the Big Ten. Bad injuries. Team never really was truly humming this season. But, dude, I mean, no matter what kind of ball they're playing right now, sweeping them has never really been a easy task for Mick up until just this last season. And what was his 5th attempt at doing so? He'd been swept himself against SC, and those teams were never really world beaters. They never are. Minnesota, beatable on the road, albeit, one final road test, and then Nebraska, just kind of that final Q1 opportunity that you get at home. So I'll tell you what, I was getting ready to jump ship after Michigan State and everything that happened, and they certainly pulled me back in with that one. And I think this last set of games, it's going to be very, very interesting and a lot of winnable games right there.
What do we got to do, Kyle? 3-1 would be pretty much lock into the tournament if we go 3-1, only losing to Nebraska, right? What's the minimum? 2-2?
I think you can go into it. I think you can go 2-2.
Depending which 2, like Minnesota.
If you lose to Minnesota, you're back on the bubble. If you split SC, beat Minnesota, and let's say we beat Nebraska, obviously we're in. At this point, I think we're firmly in. We've had another. At USC will be a Q1 opportunity. If you win that game,
that will be wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, 100%. So 2 Q1 opportunities left. Minnesota might even.
Is Minnesota borderline Q1?
Let me check. Minnesota is a Q1 road game at 73.
So we have 3 Q1 opportunities.
73. Yeah.
Don't listen to me, dude.
Net 73. Southern Cal is net 58. So, yeah, we have 3 opportunities left for Q1. And I think, I hate to say this, but 4 winnable games, in my opinion. Getting Nebraska at home is big. I just think that we play so much better when we're at home. I think that if you can beat SC tomorrow night, you get confidence going into the weekend. That's really the one scary one. I think that is like you can't lose Saturday. You absolutely cannot lose Saturday, because then that puts us back on. We're playing like a play-in. I think right now, if the brackets came out today, we would be like a 9 or 10 seed, and we wouldn't have to play that like first 4 type of game. But you lose one of those, and I think you're sort of back in that conversation.
If we go 4-0 here, which we all kind of agree is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we beat a top 5 or top 6 Purdue team, and then the Illinois game. Like, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a possible 7 seed? Like, what's...
If you go 4-0 here, you're 22-9, and you're 14-6 in the Big Ten.
Do we get a double bye into
no,
the Big Ten?
I think the top is just too. It really just depends on what plays
what
out,
other people do.
But sure. I think we might miss that this year. The top is just so. It's a very top weighted conference this year, with everyone beating up on like the Penn States, the Northwesterns, the Oregons, Maryland, Rutgers. Those teams have sucked, and they've really only beaten each other. So I think that's out of the equation. But if you win a game in the Big Ten tournament, like let's say we lose in the semi, or like just anything but a showing like last year against that Wisconsin team, that was atrocious.
That was so bad.
It was. We lost by 30, and that wasn't even competitive at all.
They set some kind of record for 3-pointers made.
For 3-pointers,
yeah. So we'll see.
7 seed then. If you go 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, if you go 4-0 and you win a game in the Big Ten tournament, I don't see why you can't be a 7 seed.
Just with this team, it's just so tough to set expectations, man. Like, I'm almost as confident that UCLA goes 4-0 as I am that they could potentially go 1-3 here.
But the weird thing about this team is, while they're unpredictable, they haven't lost a game that's like a trap game. Like, they haven't lost.
I hated that Cal game.
Cal would be the one.
Yeah, I mean, there was no Bilodeau, so
I guess I'm getting it kind of conflated because some of the losses to the good teams have just been so bad.
Yeah,
like dropping 2 in a row by 30
points.
In
the fashion that we did,
It's just I guess it's kind of a little bit of shell shock.
We never lost to the Rutgers of the world, the Oregons of the world. Like, we haven't lost any of those games. We've lost
the Iowa Ohio State was bad. Iowa Wisconsin.
We've lost the games that we could have lost, but also at the same time, you win a couple of those games. Like, I look back and you win the Indiana game, and I think there's a big difference in sort of our team right now. It's a 1-point loss in overtime,
double overtime, yeah.
So. But yeah, the next 2 weeks will be pretty big. See where we end up.
Anyone going tomorrow night or tonight?
I'll
I
be
guess
there.
I have a work dinner at El Cholo, but
I was just there over the weekend.
It's at 6:30. So is there a TV? There's got to be a TV at the bar there, right?
There is. There's a couple, I think.
Okay.
I was just there on Saturday, yeah.
That's the UCLA Baseball staple for recruiting visits.
Speaking of which, Rock Chalowski, is it 5 now? 6 home runs in 5 games?
7, or if you don't count the first, I think the first one he hit was in the second game. But yeah, just unconscious.
Oh my God, the guy's absolutely incredible. I was able to go to one of the TCU games on Friday. It was his first. It wasn't his first at-bat. It was his second at-bat, but the first pitch of his at-bat, grand slam with the bases loaded. Then hits another one like the 6th or 7th inning. Guy's just absolutely incredible. People got to make it out to Jackie, man. Not enough people go to those games. I know it's like – actually, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say I know it's a bitch to get to. No, it's not. All we claim is that we want a stadium in Westwood. God forbid you take a fucking shuttle. Go to a baseball game.
You took the shuttle?
No, I didn't. I was with Jack Savage, so I just pulled right up.
So you went in the
VIP
back.
treatment, yeah.
You know how I roll, baby. I want to buy one of those jerseys.
Was it freezing?
No,
was it freezing?
That's okay. That is the drawback of UCLA baseball games. I don't know what it is about Jackie Robinson
you need,
Stadium.
3 layers.
Yeah, if you go to a nighttime game
Graveyard.
there, it's something to do with the trees. It's like a very moist, cold wetness in that stadium. There's like you could tell who goes to a lot of games because there's a lot of people with blankets and stuff. So if you come dressed and prepared accordingly, it's great because there's obviously not a bad seat in the house. It seats what? Let's call that 2,500, 3,000 people. What's the capacity of Jackie Robinson? It can't be more than 3,000.
I think it's like 2,500.
2,500. Okay. But yeah, that
1800, 1838.
Really?
Gee, yeah, it's pretty
according
small.
to UCLA website.
I almost doubled what it is.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was that small.
Yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
ask LSU fans on Twitter if they think that it's small. They'll tell you that it's really small and that they hate Gavin Newsom. Yeah.
I'm looking to get out there for that Fullerton game. Fullerton's usually a good program.
They've been horrible.
Have you seen?
years,
I mean,
but
this weekend is insane. This is like
This
a little
weekend's
mini
a
World
great-
Series.
Yeah.
we would always do something like this. Like my senior year, we went to Texas and played A&M, actually Illinois, and one other solid team. But this is like the tournament. This is like the
But this
marquee.
is in Texas,
like, this
right?
is-
It's in
this, yeah,
The
yeah,
new
if
Rangers
You,
Park.
if you
Yeah.
took this tournament and compared it like a basketball tournament, this is like the Maui Invitational or that new one that they have in Vegas. Like this is the one where all the SEC teams go, the Big 12 teams will go to. So yeah, I think we have 3 SEC opponents on the schedule.
And all ranked. It's Mississippi State, A&M, and who am I
Tennessee.
missing?
Tennessee.
And Tennessee.
Tennessee.
All of which are it's like 15, 19, 22 in their AP rankings. You go in there and beat all 3 of those teams, and I'm nuclear. I'm all in.
That's a crazy statement.
We're buying our tickets to Omaha.
Why
if
is
that
it? What do you
happens.
mean that's a crazy statement? As if like that's unrealistic?
No, I'm just saying that would be a crazy statement
yeah.
to the rest of the country.
Because we beat TCU collectively, I think 30-8 or something.
yeah, they had 8 runs over. I think it was 40.
Holy shit! Really? Wow. Was it 40? I thought it was 30. Wow.
I don't know. They sent me a baseball
Well,
newsletter.
the 15-5, absolute drubbing, and the 10-2. Those 2 bookends are just
No, it was
absurd.
30.
30
Yeah.
to 8 is still preposterous. I mean, then you include the Tulane game just before that, and then that'll put you to 40. And that'll put you at like 42 or maybe 45. How many did they score? I think it was 15 against Tulane. Look at me schooling you with
13-5
baseball knowledge, Kyle.
Yeah.
13-5.
Of all people. So it's 43-12
Yeah.
in their last 4 games. This team's fucking for real, baby.
You combine Coach Savage with a good offense. It's a good recipe because that guy is like, you have obviously good talent, but he just knows how to pitch like this. I mean, he's always called pitches. He's always been all over it. So he's a wizard with those pitchers. You just got to keep him healthy. That's always sort of been something that, I feel like, not that we've struggled with, but every year we lose 1 or 2 guys that I feel like you really need, obviously, to make a deep run and have pitching. Because when you get to the postseason, you got to have arms, because you lose 1 game in a regional or you lose 1 game in Omaha, you have to play an additional 2 or 3 just to get out of that elimination bracket, and you're just mowing through arms. That's one thing that we sort of always ran into, is we end up in the elimination bracket and we'd sort of run out of pitching. And you just got to slug your way out of it, which obviously this team can do. And our team in 2019 was able to do. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm buying my tickets to Omaha if they go.
I said I'd do that last year, so
Did you end up going?
No, that's the thing, is that like I would say that I will, but what's my word at this point? I fucking bailed on last year. It's hard to get there. It's just difficult place to get to, and I just pushed out. I'll leave it at this. I would love to go if we make it this year. I would love to go, and maybe I do.
Maybe with your VIP treatment, you're on the charter.
No, I know. Look at that. Cool. All right, guys. I believe that's all we have. Is that from you guys? We're all good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll go Bruins, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.
All right.